size. Members of the family cried uncontrollably, devastated, and we just have to provide all the relevant support and counselling. I must say the leadership of the school, led by the headmaster, provided all the support that was needed at the scene. And they indicated that there were psychosocial workers there, and we tried to really console the family. And then we then made arrangements with the police to retrieve the body and bring it closer to where the family is, so that the family can manipulate. Because where the body was found was far deeper, and it was just inside the bushes, so it was going to be very, very difficult for the family to go there. And as police indicated, that we're fortunate that the body didn't go into the dam, and it was just close by. So the police brought the body, and we have to take the family to then confirm and verify the body, and they indeed did that. And on that basis, all law enforcement activities had to kick in. The police have to investigate, interview people. The mortuary van had to come in and all those things. So we left the family to rush here, but we extended our sincere condolences to them, to the school community, and also to those that were affected, especially friends of the boy. I know all of you want to know what happened. It's something that, where I am, it's very, very difficult to explain what happened. When we spoke to the principal indicated that the incident took place on Wednesday. As I already indicated, that we were only notified yesterday. Late yesterday. So we needed to satisfy ourselves whether there are other circumstances that led for the late notification. Because we didn't have an opportunity to speak to the principal and to speak to the school, it's still very difficult now to understand. But when I arrived at the scene, I requested the last people to work with the children there to take me through the same exercise, so that I can have an understanding what they were doing. Indeed, they did that. What they're saying, that it was a simulation, as if learners were dropping off from an aircraft, and then they have to cross the river with somebody that is injured. So they had to build some crafts and use that to cross through the river. And then, so I was taken through that process. And everyone indicated that after that exercise, they were not aware that there is a learner that is missing. So only when they were doing the head count that they realized that the numbers are not the same. They've indicated as well that there were other children that were booked, but they didn't pitch up. So they started to phone everyone that was not there. And others indicated they were sick, they had sporting commitment, so they didn't make the trip, or they couldn't afford the trip. So that's the first part that made them to feel that maybe this learner is part of those that didn't make it. But when they checked again, that's when they realized that indeed someone is missing, because their belongings are there, and then therefore they raised the alarm. And when they raised the alarm, that's when all of us were notified. As I said, when I was notified, I felt, because there was a large scale of people that were assisting us, farmers and other things, so we're inundated with inquiries. So we had to to issue a public notice to indicate that we've got this kind of a problem, and advise the school also to issue a communique. So after I've issued the public notice, the school followed. After they've made contact with the family, they also issued, I know the school has been criticized for not notifying parents on time. It is justified, but our priority at that time was to ensure that the family of the missing child get the relevant information and that So the school also arranged a session this morning, and we advised the school that we have to cancel the entire camp. The situation was unbearable. So all the social workers that were there, we said, allow the children to go for breakfast. Immediately after breakfast, they must be taken to a counseling session, taken back to the bus, and be brought back here. Others were supposed to have sporting activities tomorrow. We felt that those activities can't continue in the state that they are. We must allow them to recover. The family of Enoch Mpianzi comes from northern DRC. He was in grade 8, he was first year in the school. The family explained that was a very kind person. The day before the trip, when the mother went to wake him up, he said to the mother, "I'm not sleeping because I could not sleep. I'm looking forward to this trip." And he's a learner that had an ambition to be a lawyer, so he wanted to study law. The family is a praying family, highly Christian. So they say that the background of law, they felt that it comes from the desire to pray for solutions, and he wanted to support those solutions through law. As I have indicated, we are devastated. We are devastated as a department. The school is devastated as well. The family is devastated. And we'll do everything within our powers to compile a proper report. The police came in, they took over the scene. The investigating officer already interviewed some of the learners. They've given information, and they said that they will take that information and utilize it. So the staff of the school, we left them at the scene just to ensure that all other things that need to be attended to can be attended to. We suspect that everyone will start to come down later this afternoon. I want to leave it there, Steve. As I said, it's a difficult period. We can take areas, but I want to also thank Teddy. They're always there when we are going through this kind of things. Thank you so much, Doc. We really appreciate the district and the management that is here. We are in pain. We are in pain. We are in a difficult situation, but we remain hopeful we'll get out of this situation. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much, MEC. Let's then take questions. You must remember your number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll just do one round. Okay? Done. In that order. Identify yourself for the media house. Thank you.
So, from News from Africa, I'm curious to find out what safety measures were put in place. Were these kids wearing life jackets when they went into the river? And why is it that high school kids were made to assemble rafts and go into a river which we now understand had a heavy current? And lastly, I also want to find out who's to be held responsible for this tragedy. Obviously, nobody could have foreseen what would be the outcome, but who's to be held liable for it?
MC Sesona from News 24. MEC, we understand that, okay, let me rephrase it this way. Who are the kids with exactly? Who are they under the care of? Were they under the care of teachers? Matrics, as we've heard from parents, some parents allege that they were under the care of matrics.
Romalda Swatboy, Network. MEC, can you please just confirm where was the body found? And was the camp compulsory for all grade 8s? Did they do a head count after the activity? And did the school check beforehand who can swim and who can't?
MEC, just last year, he visited a family of a learner who drowned during matric dance in social media. Now there's a tragic incident that has happened. What safety measures are being put in place to ensure that kids are being safe when going to excursions, trips that are funded by the school as well? Because parents are quite concerned about these accidents that keep taking place. Thank you.
MEC, given what you saw at the scene of the accident, are you satisfied with what you've been told? Because we've also heard reports from the police that there had been heavy rainfall in that area, which meant that there shouldn't have been anyone near that water. What do you make of that? And then secondly, was this part of a team building exercise or was it an initiation?
Let me see, I think maybe just to also find out, we are hearing some parents saying that other kids actually had to also be rescued out of this river. I don't know if that was also part of the briefing that you were given. I think about 5 boys also had to be pulled out as a result of that current. And I think also there were also some parents are also saying that this child was actually only accounted for in the evening, not accounted for in the evening, that the day had progressed as though everything was normal. Granted, you did say that there were some kids that were supposed to pitch that didn't pitch, but surely by the time you know that you now only have 120 as opposed to 180, you need to know that you are, especially with water activities, because anything can happen. Are you going to hold the school or somebody accountable for that? Not necessarily because there was a drowning, but we have parents that are having their children going to these orientation camps in other schools. Are you not concerned? Should we be worried? My child's going. Should I be worried?
I just wanted to build on my colleague Susanna's question, just with regards to the teachers and the matrics that were in charge. Can you clarify the number of teachers that were present, that were there to take care of the children, as well as the roles that were assigned to the teachers and to the matric pupils that were there to assist? What were the matric pupils there to do specifically? And then, according to North West Police, we spoke to this morning, we're hearing that the case was only opened at 3 p.m. yesterday. So this took the whole, a portion of Wednesday and also the entire day of Thursday for a case to be formally opened with the police. Can you explain what the delay was?
MEC Chanel from Daily Maverick. I just want to understand, because you said that there were some children that didn't pick up on the language, which is understandable, but surely a head count was made before activities began, and was there a lifeguard on duty at the time?
Thank you very much. MEC?
Thank you so much, Steve. I must be honest, as I said, we moved from one activity to another, and the priority the entire day was to find the missing child. That we never had an opportunity, both with the school and the camp organizers and the owners of the venue, to interrogate them on some of the issues that we are raising now. And if I can't respond to them to a satisfactory, please don't take it that we are avoiding. I never, even myself, I have to apply my mind on some of the things, because when we arrived there, the first task was to brief the family, take the rescue team to the scene and assist where we can, and get the information of whatever happened. And as I said, later on the police indicated this is happened, we had then to provide the support. So I'll provide the information that needs to be provided, but I think information that directly need the school, I think at one stage either the SGB or the principal will provide that kind of information. I must confess that I'm not aware and I didn't see, or I was not briefed whether the people that assisted the children and the children themselves had life jackets or were given, when you go to a boat, you are told safety measures first when you go to. So that part of the information was not provided to me as of now. So I can't say it was done or it was not done because we didn't receive that information. Who's going to be held liable or responsible? What we normally do in incidents like this, we establish an independent team to investigate, interview, separate from the police, and on the basis of that report we act. Those that knows the history of this school, they will tell you the principal is new, and there are some teachers that we had to terminate their contracts because an independent report fingered them in some of the wrongdoings in the school. So we have already demonstrated where there is a misconduct and independent report indicates that there is misconduct, we act. As I said, I personally came here to release that report to parents, and I personally listened to parents and I took the advice. Some of the teachers, as I'm speaking to you now, are no longer teaching in this institution, and we had to go through a long transformation cycle to change the attitude at this school, and we find ourselves in this situation again. So the independent report will tell us who must be liable. I know those reports normally take long, but because we need to account as quickly as possible, I'll speak to the HOD that within the next 3 months we should have concluded this report, and we'll share it with the school community and everyone that has an interest. Who was caring for the kids? And I saw almost, if I have to recall and count, I saw not less than 10 teachers and officials at the scene. And there were other members of the community that was offering pastoral services and the support. So there were lots of adults at the scene. I'm told the number of learners, and I'm not sure, I need to confirm and verify, it was almost around 200 learners. That was on the basis that when we asked them to go to buses, that's the only time that I managed to interact with them. And I know I've been here before, I've interacted with the boys, and when they saw me, they thought that I'll speak to them as I always speak to them. But as I said, I found them in an environment that was going to be very difficult for us to explain anything, and we just felt that they must just come back home. And that's the reason why they came early. So they were cared by those teachers, and those particular teachers, I think they will be asked also to compile their report to determine whether. But that exercise that they were doing is a specialized exercise, so it was not necessarily led by the teachers. I think the people that school is called Nyati School Sports. So it's a school that specializes in this kind of activities. So that people that lead this kind of activities, whether teachers were part of that, as I've indicated, one had not had an opportunity to raise or to question those teachers that were on site because we're preoccupied to find the missing person rather than go through the reports. Was the camp compulsory? The mere fact that there are children that could not attend and they apologized either on the basis of health, lack of finance, and other thing. I don't want to assume whether it was compulsory, but you can see that I'm told historically this is one activity that majority of boys look up to. It's part of the rituals of the school. Zukona is asking whether this is an initiation or I can't differentiate, but what I can tell you that we have banned initiations in our school. Actually, the report that I'm referring to about this school also explicitly indicated that there must not be any initiation rituals in our school. So, and it was termed as a camp, but we can't confirm whether it was a camp that didn't include things that normally happens in initiations, but we'll only know that when the report is finalized and we get all the relevant information. Pule, right? Last year we had a child that drowned next to Sun City. And when this thing happened, I had personal views, and I think I'll share with the department. I really believe that we need to change policy one way or another, because I authorize international trips as an MEC, and sometimes the schools feel that I'm very difficult. They will tell you, if they bring this kind of trips, international trips to me, I scrutinize everything. And then the HOD authorizes interprovincial trips. And then I think the district authorizes within the province. That's how the powers are delegated. And I know when a school says we are going for a cultural exchange in Israel, my first thing will say, no, that area is volatile. I need to get relevant security clearances. I need to get all. So I do that when I get. But I really believe that we are just authorizing the trip, not the activities. And that's where we need then to put new systems. That's my view, and we'll ventilate it within the education system to say, if they are going to go for a water-related matters, what requirements do we need before we authorize the trip? So those are the kind of things that I really feel that we need to take into consideration and work around them. Well, as I said, and I'll share it, Steve, maybe I'll give you that report that the principal sent or the school sent to us. That explains processes until they arrived that indeed there is a missing learner. They indicated what they did, what they checked, and other things. So we will hand over that report to those that are going to be appointed to investigate this matter. But whether I'm satisfied with the report, I must be honest, I didn't apply my mind. It's only now that we are out of this situation that one have to go through and revisit the issues. But I don't doubt that the school wanted to be sure that all learners are there. I don't doubt that it was deliberate act of some sort. What is concerning are the timelines. And in the absence of discussions, it's going to be very difficult to know whether those timelines are justified or not. And with the report now that the case was only opened yesterday at 3 p.m. And that the child drowned on Wednesday, but it's only on Thursday. It means that the body was there for almost 48 hours. And in the absence of a proper report, there will be speculations, and that's the part I said. The school probably, and those that were part, because this thing is still fresh, those that were part of this thing, they will provide that information that will assist us to be there. I don't have a report that other children were rescued. I was only briefed and a report that was brought to my attention late last night was that one child is missing. And I don't know the quality of the craft, the work that they've done, because indeed the person that was in charge of the exercise confirmed that learners have to go to the bush, take some of the things and develop this craft. So I really don't know whether it was safe and other things. Should we be worried about future trips? I am, must be honest. I am. Actually, when we cancelled the camp, I had the feeling that I should issue a communique that all camps should be suspended across the province. But sometimes you need to consult people. Because you might want to cancel a trip where they're not even going closer to the river, so we will unleash an audit of some sort just to check any water-related trip needs to be suspended within the province. But a general blanket decision to say stop all the camps, it might be a difficult decision, but it is an option that is on the table. Daily Maverick, the head count is a point of confusion, I must be honest. When was the head count conducted? When was the head count conducted? And when did they realize that that head count was incomplete? Who communicated which decision and other things? So that and the issue of the raft, those two are serious matters, including the safety measures, whether people were wearing life jackets and other things. So the timelines, the head counts, the raft, and the safety messages, I think those will be the key terms of reference points of our independent team. And then on the basis of that, I think we'll be there. As I said, I apologize that I left the school leadership because I didn't want to make you wait for too long, but also they needed to support the family, and I just felt that we can handle the situation. I think at the right time, they will also issue a communique. I know the school management came under attack that they communicated after I've communicated. And I understand the frustration of parents there. Is that the style of leadership and communication differ per person. When they know, they fight me, even my managers. When they give me information of public interest, I share with the public as quickly as possible, because we live in an environment where people can just post fake news and other things. So when we have clarity and we check the basic thing, the family contacted, yes. The school is aware, yes. The children are safe, yes. Let's communicate. And then that's how we issued that communication. And that's the drill that we exercise. But I think at the right time the school will respond. But immediately after that, we're working together with the school in terms of issuing the communique that was needed. I hope you understand that I didn't have a slip, so if you don't mind. We can end the exercise here, but if you still insist, we can.
My question wasn't answered about what you saw in the water. We've heard that there's been heavy rains there.
No, when I arrived there, it was. Remember, they also, the diving team also released the water using their own systems. I don't know. Even the dam, they open things so that the dam can release. I don't know the appropriate wording of that exercise, but when I arrived there, the river was not at the level where you can say it's dangerous. But you can see from the leaves and the trees there that at one stage the level of the river was high. But when I arrived this morning, it was not at the level where I can say it was dangerous.
Sorry, you didn't answer my question about the lifeguard.
Yes, I'm saying that's the part that I was not briefed. I was not briefed whether there were lifeguards.
Is it a follow-up? Okay.
MEC, with regards to the reporting time, 3 o'clock is relatively late. Do you think there may have been an attempt from the school to cover up this whole incident? And when should the school have notified you at least? What is the time period to wait? Because to wait until 3 o'clock, for me it seems like they were trying to sort out on their own.
I'm one person that hates pointing fingers when I don't have evidence. And with the position that we're in, people have their own integrity and character to protect. You confirm something that is wrong, this state will have to pay for me assassinating the character of an individual or the character of the school. So I honestly am reluctant to point fingers at people. What we need to do is to wait for the reports from all institutions to be there. But if you feel the school need to account on that aspect, they themselves, I think, will conduct an exercise like this. This thing is still fresh. I don't think they were aware that we'll have this kind of a briefing today. And you can field those questions. I think they can respond. But I'm one person that, in the absence of evidence, I don't want to point fingers or make accusations.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's end it there. Thank you very much for coming.
And thank you for your understanding. Thanks. Thanks, man. Yeah, our